Howdy, Saskatchewan! I've got the great pleasure. I'm Greg Poelzer. I'm your candidate for Saskatoon University. "2025, we're taking this riding, we're taking south, we're taking the north, we're taking a whole bunch of ridings in Saskatchewan. And I want to welcome all of you here. And when I look out, hey, Karsten, I see a bunch of friends. And Pat, 89 and a half years old. I'll tell you this, man. We were out door knocking the other night. It was bitterly cold, the Saskatchewan cold weather. It was 8 o'clock getting dark. We had 4 more blocks to do. We thought, we'll clean it up in the morning. Pat says, why are we going home? We got 4 more blocks. 89 and a half years old. I want you all here to think about one word today to share with you. And that word is values. Values define who we are, what we're fighting for, what this country is made of. Values defines our nation. And on this election, our nation is on the ballot. But I know somebody else who knows something about values. Our Prime Minister, Mark Carney. One of the important values that distinguishes us and why we will never be anyone's 51st state is the value of reconciliation. Oh, wait. Which way? Sorry. Screwed it up already. Sorry about that, Nikki. I said I wasn't going to embarrass the family, failed already. Reconciliation is core to who we are as Canadians. And to honor that spirit of reconciliation, it's important at this moment we do a land acknowledgement. We're on Treaty 6 country, home of the Métis. And something that's very important to understand is that we are all treaty peoples. Every single person in this room. The sacred covenants with the Crown that First Nations people made, Métis, Inuit peoples, with the Crown, is sacred covenant of trust. A trust that we were to take care of the land together, to share together, create equality of opportunity together. This is the promise of Canada, and I want to acknowledge the first peoples of this land who shared with us and those values that we need to share and continue to protect in our country. As we think about values and a person who authored values and how we're going to defend these in Canada, I often think of about what's the most important person in a hockey team to prevent goals coming in. And I know a goaltender, a hell of a good goaltender, named Mark Carney. And he is the best defender of Canada and Canadian values. But the goaltender can't do it himself, my friends. The goaltender needs the team in front. Goaltender needs defense. Goaltender needs hockey players like Buckley. And we will win. We are going to win seats this time in Saskatchewan. You know it. I know it. So are you going to go out and door knock? Yeah. Are you going to phone? Yeah. Are you going to get signs out? Are you going to support our leader, our Prime Minister, Mark Carney? The last thing I have to do today is introduce one of the best fighters that ever come out of Saskatchewan. A person I met 20 years ago working on University Arctic who had a passion for equality of opportunity, a passion for reconciliation, a passion for the common good. He's a fighter for the North. He's a fighter for Saskatchewan. He's a fighter for Canada. The one and only, Buckley Belanger.
Thank you very much, Greg. And people may not know this, but the reason Greg and I didn't connect after that, because I borrowed $40 off him 20 years ago, and I didn't pay him back. Greg, no interest. And Greg is right about my hockey playing skills. I understand our leader is a goalie, and I'm a goal scorer. And a lot of people don't know I played 13 games with Boston in the late 80s. Boston Pizza. Out of Prince Albert. As you all know, I'm running in the Desnethé, Missinippi, Churchill River riding in northern Saskatchewan. And I want to give a big shout out to some of our northern champions. Tanzay Janvier is here, as well as Jeannie Murray from La Loche, Devin Bernatchez from La Ronge. So I'm going to surprise them and say to them, thank you for your kind work. And I want to talk to the people about Indigenous representation within the Liberal Party. And we see a lot of times people would say, why don't we have more Indigenous people? We have more than the Conservatives. That we know. And they're going to ask us this as well, why is this election so very important? We always hear that from many of the people that we talk to. And it's more important to have Indigenous representation and being active in politics. Why? Why is it important now? It's because our water is ours. Our land is ours. This country is ours. And the First Nations and the Métis people and the people of the North, they know that those must be protected from any force that wants to meddle with our inherent rights and our lands. So a message to people out there as they think about our leader being able to negotiate with Trump. This is a man that's focused and has the abilities. Whereas I often tell folks, with Poilievre, he cannot negotiate with anybody that gives him the pat on the forehead. And that's exactly what Trump is doing to Poilievre. So pass the word around, we don't want the Poilievre pat, okay? We cannot negotiate with a man like Donald Trump. But before I introduce our next speaker, I want to say to all of you, you have the ability to join forces, to join as Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, as people from the South, as people from the North, people from different backgrounds and creed. We have an opportunity to change the course of our country. And my dad was a World War II vet, and he'd be turning over in his grave when we hear how people want to break up our country because he gave his life, willing to sacrifice his life, and he saw many of his friends die. Today he would not be happy when people talk about breaking up our country. So you folks here today, you have just two things to do. 2 words I'm going to ask you to remember. Go vote. Under our leader, Mark Carney, I know our voices will be heard because we will stand beside him. He's the type of leader we can follow anywhere across the world. But before we welcome the Prime Minister, as they say, besides every great man is an equally great woman. And it gives my pleasure to introduce, and please hold the applause till I'm finished introducing her accomplishments as well. Diana Fox Carney is a formidable intellect in her own right. a globally respected economist and policy expert. Her work specializing in agriculture, climate, nature, and development. She has worked with think tanks, investors, charities, and civil society organizations to implement solutions to some of the biggest challenges we face today. An incredibly gifted lady. I'd now like to please invite Diana Fox Carney to the stage.
Thank you so much, Buckley, and thank you so much to everyone for coming today. I know it's been, it was a short period that you were all assembled in, and it's incredible, and I really appreciate the warmth of your welcome here today. Super, super nice to be here. So, thank you. Bonsoir tout le monde. I'm here to tell you a little bit about someone that I know well over the years, and you are just beginning to get to know. And I'm going to take you back to our first date, when Mark and we met when we were grad students quite a long time ago. I met a boy from Western Canada. It was very exciting. He took me to dinner, and it was a very nice dinner. And everything was going swimmingly. And then he stopped the conversation and said, "There's something you need to know." I thought, okay. And he said, "I want you to know that I'm committed to going back to Canada and to working in the public service." And that was quite an unusual thing as a sort of 20-something-year-old. So at that moment, I knew a couple of things about my ultimately to-be husband. I knew that he was a man of unusual conviction and of integrity and values and deep, deep commitment to Canada, to this country. I also knew that he maybe wasn't the most romantic person. But he worked on that side, and we made it through. And it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that he's lived up to that commitment to himself and to the country. And he's here today. And he's here today, and he's rising to the challenge that we now face with Trump's tariffs and all the other things that face the country. So, in fact, rising to a challenge is something of a defining characteristic for Mark. And I've seen many times his response to a challenge, and he hits the ground running. He's adaptable and agile and cool and calm and all the things I wish I were under those same circumstances. He draws on an incredible memory and really a breadth and depth of experience that is second to none. And that memory is something that's quite funny. I try relentlessly to teach him the names of all the plants that I grow in the garden. I'm a keen gardener, all the plants, some Latin, some English. He seems slightly resistant to that. So I assume he's got something better in that brain of his head. But if you ask him anything about 70s pop trivia, sports, pop culture, hands down, he'll get it. So it's obviously like he picks and chooses, but he does have an incredible memory. Anyway, he's here. I'm going to introduce him to you tonight. I'm incredibly proud of him as his partner. I'm incredibly grateful to him as a Canadian for stepping up now. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my husband, your Liberal leader, and the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong, and Canada for.
Thank you. Thank you for honoring us with your presence, Chief. Oh, man, I'm exhausted walking all the way down there. Look at this. We are in the Paris of the Prairies, thank God. This is amazing. It's amazing to be back in Saskatoon. Oh, thank you, Diana. You're still with me after that bad first date. Thank you, Buckley. Thank you, Buckley, for standing up. And thanks all the incredible candidates in Saskatoon across this great province. Oh. You know, I made a mistake. I'll tell you. Okay, you guys over there, don't listen to this. Don't listen to this. I'm going to tell you a little story. Trump dropped some tariff bomb on us. And I had to make, I'll get back to him, but I had to make an announcement. And I sprinted up the steps of Parliament, and I got to the top of the steps, and all the media were there, and then I realized, oh, I'm supposed to make the announcement right now. I was like, but I'm supposed to look cool and calm under things. But anyways, it worked. Listen, this is fantastic. I was last in Saskatoon 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. Was anyone at Winston's then? That's good. Where were the rest of you? Where were the rest of you then? Now you're here. Okay. All right. Exactly. Yeah, loved it. It was great. I want to start with a simple question, which is, who's ready? Who is ready? Who is ready to stand up? Stand up for Canada with me. Who's ready? You in the red shirt over there, are you ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential election of our lifetimes? And send some great MPs, Liberal MPs, to Ottawa. You've got to send, we got to send great Saskatchewan MPs to Ottawa, because let me tell you, I have lived in Ottawa a number of years, and nothing happens in Ottawa. And if something happens in Ottawa, people don't notice. And we need to change that. But I'm going to tell you a quick story that goes back to Winston's. In Ottawa, in the main hotel, the equivalent of the Bessborough, there hangs the photograph of Winston Churchill, the most famous photograph of Winston Churchill. You know it. A number of you are nodding. He's glowering at the camera because Karsh, the famous photographer, had taken his cigar from him. He's glowering at the camera. It looks the height of wartime defiance. And it was at a point known as, well, let me tell you, it was at a point at the end of 1941 where Churchill had just visited FDR, and he was up to see Mackenzie King. And it was a point after the Allies had lost every battle with the exception of the Battle of Britain. The Japanese had just bombed Pearl Harbor, and the world's fate hung in the balance. And Churchill described it as the hinge of fate. That was the moment. It was the hinge of fate. Now, that photograph was stolen. Not 50. Oh, that's misguided. That's misguided. That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We value diversity in this country. We value diversity in this country, unlike the United States of America. You can hold different opinions in this country. It's all right. Thank you. Thank you. My point. Where was I on my Winston Churchill thing? So Winston Churchill, the photograph was stolen, but nobody in Ottawa noticed for a year. We found it in the end, it's coming back. Anyway, point is, this is a long story. This is a longer story than I intended. Anyway, the point is that at that moment, it was a hinge moment in history. The tide turned. We live through hinge moments once, maybe twice in our lifetimes. We had one in 1989 with the fall of the Berlin Wall. We are having one right now. The world economy is fundamentally changed. The relationship we had with the Americans, these guys weren't wrong. They want us to be the 51st state. They want to break us. They want to break us so they can own us. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. And what do we say? You don't have to die. You don't have to die. Never. Never. Because Canada is not America. Canada is a mosaic. You look at this room. You look at this room. We are all Canadians, but we are all distinct. Canada is not America. In our country, we take care of our own. We take care of our own. In our country, healthcare isn't a big business like the U.S. It is a right. That's right. That's right. So what are we going to do? What do we do in this situation? Fight. Yeah, we fight. We fight. We do more than fight. We do more than fight. Okay, we heard you. I heard you. I heard. You made your point. You made your point. So what we do on I say, Mr. President, no, you're disqualified on that basis. So on the, thank you. Thank you. So what we do in this country is we're going to fight, we're going to protect, and we're going to build. Here. We're going to build. So we're going to fight. We fight the Americans with what they understand. They understand money, they understand lawyers, and they understand Fox News. So we put counter tariffs on the Americans. We put counter tariffs on the Americans. Okay, I've come a long way. These people have waited a long time, and I would like to speak. Understand the point. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you. Thank you. Do my best. So, money. American, number one, money. We have put counter tariffs on the Americans. Counter tariffs to have maximum impact there and minimum impact here. Lawyers. We got a lot of lawyers. We're taking them to court, in their courts, in the international courts, in the NAFTA court, and we will win those lawsuits. And Fox News, well, we got Doug Ford all over Fox News. He's making the point. He's good. He's good. He's good, Doug. But the court, the next thing we do, okay, fight, yes. But what we have to do is we have to protect our workers. Protect our workers. Think of the steel workers. The steel workers here in Saskatchewan. Steel workers in Saskatchewan. The auto workers in Ontario. The farmers and fishers. The potash workers. And we're taking, some would take the money from the tariffs and they want to cut taxes. I won't say who that is, but you can probably guess because his answer to everything is cut taxes. We're taking every dollar from these tariffs and we're giving it back to the workers who are most affected by them and the enterprises. We are protecting our own. But the big thing that we are doing, and we're drawing on the values of Saskatchewan, is to build. is to build this great country. Build millions more homes. Not a few, millions more homes. We are going to double the rate of home building in this country so that all the young people here can actually afford a home. That would be nice for them. We are building these homes with Canadian technology in mass timber, Canadian technology in modular, Canadian workers, Canadian unions, Canadian design for Canadians. We are going to build, and I made a series of announcements today about this, we are going to build Canada as an energy superpower. An energy superpower in oil, in gas, to displace the imports Eastern Canada takes from, you guessed it, America. An energy superpower in clean energy and nuclear energy, built on the ingenuity in Saskatchewan. An energy superpower that harvests our critical metals and minerals in full partnership with Indigenous peoples. You know, you'll hear a sort of arms race amongst political leaders during this campaign who say, I'll approve this project, I'll do this project, I'll do this in 5 years, 2 years, 6 months. We will do projects only in partnership with Indigenous peoples. Only in partnership with First Nations. Only in partnership. Only in partnership with the provinces. And only in ways that gives back to the people of Canada. That's what we will do. And the other thing we will do, and our phone is now ringing off the hook. It is. If it had a hook, I guess that shows my age. It doesn't have a hook. It's vibrating. It's vibrating. Is we are going to build new partnerships with reliable trading partners. People who keep their word. People who keep their word. So we signed a new security partnership with Australia to protect our Arctic. New partnerships with France and the United Kingdom, two of our founding people. We're going to build new trade corridors to reach Asia, to reach Europe, to reach beyond. You know, I actually had a pretty good life about 4 months ago. But I, like you, was probably worried about our country. Aware that we needed to make some big changes. Big changes to address the housing crisis. Big changes to address the cost of living crisis. Big changes so young people have options, such as what we've just created. Let me just say one thing. In terms of our housing policy, we are going to create not hundreds of thousands of jobs, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of careers in the trades. Yeah. So I put my hand up to run for Liberal leader. I want to thank those brave souls who went out in -30 to Winston's like it was nothing else. Yes. I got to tell you, the door to the minivan was frozen when we got. I was like, oh yes, I remember this growing up. Actually, we didn't have minivans when I grew up, but I remember doors being frozen. I want to thank the brave souls that came out then and supported me, then, early on. I want to thank all of you who are here supporting Liberal candidates, the Liberal Party. I know many of you are not Liberals, haven't been Liberals, are thinking about putting your trust in us at this crucial time. Thank you. I put my hand up because this country has given me everything. This country gave me my education, my family, and my values. And it's my responsibility to give my everything to Canada at this hinge moment in history so we can build an even better country. We can lead. We can give ourselves far more than the Americans can ever take away. We are Canada strong. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. À bien.